Today's video is sponsored by TMG Industrial. So welcome back everybody. In this episode, we're firing back up the sawmill, but after we make a minor repair. Yes, we just got our brand new sawmill here on the homestead and I've discovered a problem. I reached out to TMG Industrial. They sent me out the parts that I need to take care of it. We're gonna do that real quick. And then we still have this oak beam on here that I was milling down practicing with, and I just realized I was gonna turn this into firewood. We need to turn this into something very important today. And that's gonna be stickers so we can stack some wood that we're about to mill, let it slowly air dry, and just kind of separate it all off of each other. Y'all, stay tuned. Toward the end of this video, we're gonna discuss something. We have some huge milling projects coming up. We're about to really put this to use. That's why we need to dial it in today. And we've got some awesome projects coming up that we're gonna use the lumber straight off of this, straight out of our woods to build some cool things. All right, so what's going on with the sawmill? Let me explain. Let's get it fixed and let's get to work. There is a lump in this factory belt that keeps causing it to spin and flip in the pulleys and jump my blade off. So watch this right here. You see how the belt is starting to flip, roll over on itself? There's a bad spot in that belt right there. It does it every time. So I am going to mark that to see how it flipped back once we got past the bad spot. So let me mark it. And watch, the belt will track perfect. All the way around, the grooves up, the grooves down. Watch what happens when that spot comes all the way back around. All right, you see it right there. It's a twist in the belt and a thick hump right here. I hope you can see that. See how the belt's wanting to twist over? Now here's the spot I marked. There's the big hump. Watch what happens. You can see it right there, not straight at all. And as soon as that spot gets to this next V-drive pulley, look, now the belt rolls over on itself, completely flips over because of that spot. And now the belt does this. It's just twisted like a pretzel. All right, so it's as simple as that. There is just a defective belt that comes with the unit. Not anybody's fault other than, well, maybe quality control at whoever manufactures the belt at that facility. So these things do happen. Well, as a result of this belt doing what it's doing that I just showed you, having this odd lump in it and twisting and flipping, we're seeing some vibration and it threw my blade off, potentially damaging a couple of teeth. So what did TMG do? They sent me out brand new belts and a brand new blade. I know what you're thinking. They probably did that because, well, I advertised for them, showing their stuff on the channel. They got me the parts out super quick. They were in stock and they made for sure to tell me in an email. They reached out and said, please let your viewers know this is TMG's main focus moving forward. We're not trying to go for the cheapest price and everything else. We're trying to go for customer service. They guaranteed me that they would do the same exact thing for you with any products that you buy from them. I'm very happy to hear that because I do not want to recommend a company to any of our viewers that support the channel if the companies themselves are not going to support our viewers. All right, so here's what we need to do. We got a lot of tension on this bad belt. We want to get it out and get rid of it. I've already got my new belts in stock. So we need to loosen up the tension and move this entire motor assembly this way. We also need to take the tension off of this blade. We're going to remove that and put a fresh one on. So simple to set tension on these. We're going to loosen 1, 2, 3, and 4 motor bolts. And then we've got this one tensioner bolt right here. We'll loosen back on this nut and then this entire motor can just slide this way through these slotted grooves in the track. And then we'll re-tension everything according to the specs underneath the cover and fire this up and get to going. And then as far as changing this blade out, all the tension settings are here on the back side, 25 to 30 foot-pounds. We're going to 28 foot-pounds. Aha! So I had to take it off to see this. There is a splice in the belt. You might not can see the seam here where this weird gap is. So obviously the splice, what was causing this belt an issue. No big deal. Let's get a new one on. All right, so what I'm doing here is for tension, it says 3/8 of an inch max on this part of the belt, and that's 3/8 of an inch both directions. Looks like we got to tighten it up just a little more and then lock everything down. All right, let's get this blade torqued down to the proper specs, check the tracking. Now we're ready to start cutting some stickers and getting ready for, oh, there it is. Ready to start cutting some stickers, getting ready for some big time milling coming up. All right, tracking still looks good from the last time I set it. I think we're ready to fire this up. All right, well, that went well. I've got a bunch of 1-inch slabs cut out of this kind of old, dried and dead oak. Now I want to look at the length here, because what I need is stickers that are about 4 foot long, because that's as long as my tractor forks are. And we're going to lay, wood down, stickers for an air gap, layer another layer of wood, another layer of stickers, another layer of wood, and then pick up with the tractor forks and move around. So we'll probably go just slightly over 4 feet. So let's do this. I want to go ahead and cut this with a chainsaw up here. It'll make sense in a second. So I can take this stack and move around beside this stack, flip them all over, and then we're going to cut 1 by 1 sticker strips. But if I'll go ahead and bust this in half now and move everything over, the beauty of doing that is, putting them side by side, is now I can make one long cut, cutting through both sections at a time. I'm about to be cutting a tremendous amount of stickers at once. You're going to see here. Tell you what, I'm going to cut an end section off here that I don't need, and I'll just split that up into some firewood, little pieces. I can just pop that with a hatchet. We'll use that for fire starter, little smoking wood chunks. I mean, at the end of the day, this is oak, although it's starting to get a little rotten in some sections. I was going to turn this all into firewood. I was going to turn it into some stickers. We'll use what we can and toss what we don't need. All right, where is it? Make sure I reposition my log stops correctly. All right, so after getting run inside for the last hour due to a pretty severe storm, popping, lightning and all, we've got just a short window to start cutting my little 1" by 1" sticker sticks right here, because now there is another storm rumbling in the distance. Radar's blowing up. So it looks like we have about 50 to 60 minutes before we're getting hit again. So let's at least try to be productive today. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got over here. A bunch of stickers. Now these are all uniform, other than there's a couple pieces here that it's like 1 by 1.5 inches, but you can clearly see what side to lay it on. Everything else is 1 by 1 inch. We got to let it dry. Everything's soaking wet right now. But I've got multiple layers of those, and that's more than I'll need. All right, so why is that more than I need, and what's the big news here? Let's talk about some upcoming projects. The reason that's more stickers than I technically need, but now I always have spares, is because I have zero plans of storing lumber long term. At least right now. I don't have the room to store it. I don't have a kiln to dry it, and air drying for a year plus around here just would be all up in my way. Now, we may store some slabs and custom furniture pieces that I know I want to make, but I don't plan on doing, well, framing lumber stored long term. However, I still do plan to mill some lumber, and we're gonna build some stuff with green lumber as a test. All right, so here's a big announcement, y'all. This barn is about to get a whole lot bigger. We need the room. Now, as we look around, yeah, we've already got a pile of barns, including my firewood barn right here. And if I'm being perfectly honest with y'all, I had no idea the channel was gonna grow the way it was, and we were gonna get into the equipment and things that we're doing here. Always build bigger than you think you need, but at a certain point, financial reasons and everything else makes you build and do a certain type of way. Well, now that we're doing the sawmill, now that we got the excavator out here and we're starting to get lots of attachments and equipment, we need a little more room so I can get this entire workspace back open. Now, what I constantly remind people, things like the little Souls tractor, that's not mine. I hope to own it, maybe I will, but not mine. The tractor log splitter, also not mine. This is actually about to be up for sale if anybody's interested in that. I've got a couple people that were interested in it. So things like this will eventually not be here. This could be, who knows? But my personal log splitter, always gonna be here to stay. The sawmill, not going anywhere. My mini excavator I bought, well, it's gonna stay with me. And we're gonna eventually get more attachments. I'm tired of the mess of buckets and grapples and mulchers and things like that being out here in the open. I'd like to be able to designate this as my firewood splitting area, that is my sawmill area, and open all this up. All right, so how are we gonna accomplish that, and what the heck has that got to do with the sawmill? We are about to put a 16-foot lean-to addition on the back side of this building. That's coming up within the next couple of weeks, and I need to mill some lumber for it. A lot of lumber, actually. So, coming up one of the next episodes, we're gonna be clearing all this out. All these old pallets is going to the dump. We're gonna get this firewood towed over where it belongs. Actually, we need to get back to splitting and filling some of these up. And we're gonna rearrange a lot of this mess, but we're gonna be taking out this row of trees and this row of trees. You can see Mother Nature's almost cleared this area for me. But we're gonna have to take out that one, that one, that one, this one, and a few others. And we're gonna be putting a 16-foot lean-to off and stopping out there. We're gonna clear this area out, probably rock it all in. And now imagine behind me 16 by 48 foot long space. It's gonna start getting in, the roof's gonna be dropping. It's gonna be kind of low head height out there, but that's okay. Now we can move all this equipment, log splitter. I'm gonna park the excavator back up in this bay right here. Attachments and everything else go out there. My barn is back open again, ready for work, ready for pulling a dump trailer through and filling with firewood or whatever I need. I have been longing for this. So where does the sawmill come into play for that? Well, we're gonna mill our own lumber for this project. What I've decided to do is I've reached back out to Backwoods Barns. We're gonna be doing the same metal trusses, but lean-to trusses. We're gonna be getting the metal from them because obviously I can't make my own metal. But all these 2x6 purlins you see up here, we're gonna mill every single one of those ourselves. It's gonna be a bunch of them. And we're gonna mill some hardwood for this project. I'm also gonna put the lumber up green. I've read on enough forums, I think we're perfectly fine to do it for a structure like this. This isn't a house, it's just a roof. It's gonna continue to air dry. We're screwing everything in. I think we're gonna be perfectly fine to do that. So we're gonna do pine for the purlins. We've still gotta go get a tree. I've got my eye on one. And we've already started pulling some hardwood logs out of the woods. We got a pile more to get, but that's already enough for this project right here. We're gonna mill some probably true 2-inch dimensional lumber, and that's because we need an extra strong rack out here. So we are going to build a rack in the back side of one of these bays to where I can put heavy duty implements, doesn't matter what it is, excavator buckets, things like that, pallets, and all up on top, and then also put equipment underneath the bottom. I'm gonna build that out of really, really robust, thick hardwood that we're gonna mill ourselves. So that means we're about to get our butt in gear. I don't wanna mill this lumber just yet because, well, we've got a mess underneath the barn. I've got clearing and moving around to do. I don't need big stacks of lumber in the way, but we're gonna get the post up, we're gonna get the trusses up, and then we're literally gonna mill lumber and put it up like within a couple of days, green as can be. I'm curious to see people's thoughts on this, but I've been on enough sawmill forums. It seems perfectly fine for this type of application, and I'm looking forward to doing it. Y'all, another thing I noticed, did you notice a lot of the vibration went away? In the first original video, I seen some vibration, and a lot of it was my fault because I didn't lock my saw head in. But I just discovered today, it got so much smoother. Well, it was because that belt was in there twisting and it had that lump in it, and it was causing a lot of vibration in the motor and around the wheels. So we definitely needed to get that belt changed out. Like I said, obviously that wasn't the sawmill's fault. It's the belt manufacturer, whoever the heck that was. Somehow it slipped through quality control, but we got a brand new one on there, a brand new blade. It's cutting beautiful today. Very smooth. I'm very happy with that. Y'all, speaking of these sawmills behind me, these sawmills, they just put on sale and they dropped the price dramatically. Y'all, the big 30-inch mill like I have here, they just dropped it $1,100. The 27-inch version, which is very comparable to this, a nice mill, good quality engine and all, they just dropped $1,200. Huge price drops. Now, this is while supplies last or until tariffs impact anything. Lord knows the world's been tossed upside down with tariffs right now. So I have no idea how long these prices are gonna be here. If you're in the market for a sawmill, go check them out. I'll put some links down there. We're not talking $100, $200 off. We're talking up to $1,200 off. Huge price drops. Now might be the time to pick you up one of these. Links will be down in the description. All right, we're not done in this episode. So I'm left with some cutoffs and some pieces that didn't make full length. I've already got all the stickers I need over there, so I'm left with some like 2-inch stickers right here, and they are 1 inch wide, so I could put them over there. Or this is oak, y'all, with a little small dry time. As thin as this is, this would make fantastic like smoking wood or solo stove wood. So let's grab some of this right here, split it in half with my bandsaw mill over here on the table. Let's kick this fan on because I'm sweating my butt off. And then split some of it up into some much needed pieces. We're going to try to start using as much material as we can off the sawmill to go to all the different types of wood need projects that we have around here, from pits, from cookers to building. And then anything full of bark or something that we don't want can go in the burn pit. All right, check this out. I'm kind of excited about this. Look at these beautiful pieces of oak right here that's gonna dry so quick. And you talk about the perfect little solo stove, you know, fire pit wood. We love running our little fire pit on the back porch, our smokeless fire pit. These would be phenomenal in there. Not to mention chunks like this would go great in my smoker. Yeah. Now, does it make sense to cut slabs specifically for firewood? Absolutely not. You're putting wear and tear on your machine, you're burning gas, and you got the time invested. But what I'm noticing is at the end of cutting sessions like this, I'm gonna wind up with odd slabs. And a lot of people feel pressured to probably turn them into 1x4s or a 1x6, and then guess what? You gotta find somewhere to go stack and store that. To some of y'all, that makes sense. The lumber is valuable to you. I get it. I want some lumber too. I don't want random end pieces and slabs and cutoffs. I don't want to feel pressured that I have to turn it into like a 1x4 and go stick it off in the corner. When I could turn it into smoking or cooking wood or small premium fire pit wood like this, that's actually more valuable to me, even though the majority of y'all are gonna say the lumber's more valuable. I totally get it, but if I get what I need out of a tree and there's good leftover pieces like that, oh, that right there gets me super excited. And if we wind up with a lot of that in the future, man, what I would love to have out here is like a 1 or 3/4 horse bandsaw, something quite a bit bigger than what you see, so I can like triple stack pieces and just rip through it. We may set up over here on the side of the building. Keep in mind, there's about to be a roof over everything back there. I'm thinking we're gonna set us up a bandsaw station right over here on this side of the building, move my little kindling splitter that you just seen. By the way, that thing's working awesome. Put it on this pole, put my bandsaw right here so it's protected by blowing wind. The roof's going way out there, no rain can get on it. I think that might be a sweet little area to start doing that. And then don't forget, I got a 12-foot bay where I can like bring a basket in here on the forks of the tractor. I'm probably way back in this bay gonna put, I don't know, maybe the log splitter. I'm gonna have tons of open room back there, including room behind this shelter. Over here's probably a little red tractor. Maybe in this bay is gonna be in the very back where I stack equipment. You know, buckets and everything like I was telling you. Over here is the excavator. I don't know. We got to figure all that out, but that's pretty exciting. We have some really cool builds coming up and we're just getting started. We're going to do another equipment rack over another barn. So we got to go get more hardwood, mill that down, build that rack, clean the other barn up, make room out there. And then we have a super exciting build starting over at the river property. All this is going to be in the next 2 to say 6 weeks. We're going to be knocking out multiple types of projects, running the sawmill, gathering sawmill logs, building new structures. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Can't wait to share it with you. Catch y'all on the next one.